Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Talking Tradesman. With me in the studio today, I have Laura Faux from LKF. Is it Painting and Decorating or Decorating Services?
Painting and Decorating Services, yeah.
I nearly got it. It was like rolled
Close
into
enough.
one. And more importantly, Life of a Female Tradie. So with Laura here, I have a fellow podcaster.
You do indeed.
How are you, Laura? You're right.
I am. I'm good, thank you.
Good. Well, let's talk. Massive thank you for giving up your time and coming on to my podcast today. And also a big tip of the hat because I know how difficult it is to set up, run, record, edit and do all that in terms of podcasting. So fair play to you. Well done for persisting because I said this pre-record. You have reached 15 episodes now.
15 episodes, yeah.
So you've gone past starter, you've gone past hopeful, you're now into established in my mind.
Beautiful. I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump straight into that, I think. Let's talk a little bit about your podcast, what it is, why you set it up, and give that a shout out. So again, that's Life of a Female Tradie.
It is.
Which can be found
everywhere. Spotify, Apple, everywhere. It's on all of them. Wherever you find podcasts, you'll find me. So
go and check it out. Go and give Laura a like, follow, subscribe thing. All them things that I normally forget. While you're there, subscribe to this one too. I always find it quite strange actually when I see like the viewing or download figures are way higher than the subscribers. So if you're listening, just hit that button. It'll take you 3 seconds. It costs you nothing. It's the last time I'll beg for that. But yeah, let's get into that then, Laura. What made you start a podcast?
Well, actually, it was my dad that made me, go. We went on a course together and with
podcast
my sister.
Course?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. All three of us went on a course in Peterborough and they actually said, you come along with us. So I did, loved it, loved the concept. I was like, right, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And that's where it started. And the idea was, I think with podcasts, it kind of starts from a little bit of a selfish point of view sometimes, where you want to know about other people or another subject. And then, I just thought, right, I need to find loads of different tradespeople and I want to know how they got into their trade, basically. And
Yeah, fair play. It's you're probably more qualified than me in that case. Then you did a course, I just jumped blindly into it and bumbled my way through. Learning by mistake as I go along.
Sometimes the best way, though, isn't it? I mean,
I think so.
Still learning. It's not easy. It's really not easy. But,
it's not. I think it's a good thing though. I found it a good thing having to do everything because I mean, if one day it sort of gets to the point where you can then bring people in or help to expand upon what you're doing, you know each part of the job. So I guess you would know what's good and what's bad if you were to bring in people. But it's it's a whole new skill set that, if I'm honest, I didn't appreciate at all, which is why I've always got now a newfound respect for anybody that is setting up, whether it's day one or episode 50. Like, I know the graft that goes into it. So big tip of the metaphorical hat for that one.
Thank you.
Out of interest, did your dad and your sister get into podcasting?
My sister is, so she's got a podcast, The Sewing Social. Hers is based on all things crafts around sewing. So anything associated with sewing, then they're the type of guests that she has on hers, and she's doing extremely well. So, but
Good.
it's nice to have somebody that we can talk to about it that's right there, because we're really close anyway. So every single day we're talking about podcasting. Like, what have you done here? Can you help me with that? Or what did you do with that? So it's really helpful that we're both on the same journey. She launched before me, so hence why she's getting a bit more traction, I think, along with she's got a bigger following than me anyway.
Oh, there is a bit of a competitive nature there.
No, not really. Well, there isn't. I think it's healthy. It's we're not. Yeah, it's not in a negative way at all. We totally support each other and are hyping each other up through the process.
Good.
So.
Yeah, if you can get on board with somebody that's on a similar journey to you and you can motivate each other to do better, then that's a win.
Yeah.
So the Life of a Female Tradie, this is kind of given away in the title. Yeah. What's it about, Laura?
It's basically about, so I get on other females that are in a trade, anywhere in construction, whether it be on the tools, behind the desk, so to speak. So any female that's associated with the construction industry, I have them on and I ask them how they got into their trade or their aspect, and we just kind of go from there, really. We find out what challenges they've had as a female, because obviously we all know it's a male-dominated, or shall we say crowded industry. Not in a negative way, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Those are the facts, yeah.
And I like to find out if anybody has had any difficulties, if they bumped heads with anybody over them being a female.
Over the gender side of it rather than anything else.
Yeah, and also I like to find out where their journey started in regards to education as well, and what route they took, because as we're aware, there's a shortage of tradespeople in general.
Yeah, 100%.
And being a female in an industry that is not a norm for a female, I like to understand what support they got and where their journey started, so that we can hopefully inspire other young girls or other females of any age to pick up a trade.
I think it's really important, you know. There's a few things that I love about it. One is that I think generally the entire overall image of the construction industry needs an overhaul.
Yeah.
And I think us that are in it, getting out there and putting out things like the podcast, social media content, whatever, so we can directly get to people without the misconception that the education system puts on the industry. Yeah. So that's great. And to have more people like yourself doing things on social media and getting word out there. And definitely, you know, the female side of that as well, getting it out there to reach the ears of the people that needs to hear the message. Yeah. We can bypass a lot of the bullshit, to be frank, and having real accounts of how life is for a woman in the trades. You know, I think that's really, really valuable with what you're doing, getting those opinions, stories, positive and negative, out there, and just trying to break down some of the barriers. I mean, I must admit, I feel that there's a real change. I think particularly our industry, because obviously Laura's a fellow painter and decorator. I don't know whether it's that more females are good at social media. So that, like, I think I'd probably be right in saying that most females that are in the trades are probably on social media, whereas with men it's not. Like some are on socials, some are not. You've got the old school that just, you know, don't need that kind of situation. But it's great to see, and it seems that there's more and more people coming through, and it's great to see the youngsters coming through, the likes of Lily and stuff like that are coming through, really championing the trade and being an apprentice. And I think it's brilliant. And some of the best decorators I know socially and online are ladies. So I think it's a real valuable tool to have social media to promote.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we all know how much time people spend on social media now. And if you're not utilising it for your business, then, you know, it's a big... You're missing something, aren't you?
100%. So. I mean, last year, I was at the On the Tools Awards last year, and a good friend of mine, Hannah, Colour Coated, Hannah Kalafarska, she won Painter and Decorator of the Year, which, again, fantastic moment to see. There's some real talent. You know, obviously, former guest of yours and mine, Joanne Hay, another great decorator. It's brilliant to see, and as I say, to have that example put out there to people of how it is. Do you feel that there's a bit of a change in the tide?
I have to admit, I do. Yeah. I think the more people I speak to on my podcast, the variation of journey that I hear, and the more acceptance you hear as well. And also you can't, that's across all the trades as well, not just painting and decorating. And it's really nice to see that both males and females are supporting female tradespeople.
Yeah.
Because you'd be surprised, well, you may even not be surprised, but some females are negative about a female tradie. Almost in like, well, why are you doing that then?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it is turning out that the more people I speak to, the difference in stories I hear, and yeah, definitely seeing improvement for sure. Definitely.
But it's still the early days, isn't it? I think in terms of the changing of the tide. I mean, it's one of those things. Will it ever be 50-50 in terms of like gender split in the trades? I don't think personally that it will, but I think there'll certainly be more.
Yeah.
You know, more ladies coming into it. And rightly so. As I say, there's some fantastic tradies coming in. It's like everything, isn't it? I mean, the trades are not for everyone, male or female. There's a lot of the younger generation that will look at the trades now and be like, nah, I don't fancy that.
Yeah.
So, because it's graft.
Yeah.
Which I love personally.
I do.
But it is, society's changing, people are changing. What people see as a successful role in life, I think, is changing. We could go into a really deep rabbit hole with that, Laura, to be fair. Well, that's your podcast. I'm glad we have mentioned that. So everyone that's listening, go check it out. So Life of a Female Tradie, available on all platforms. Go and give Laura a follow. And I'm sure, because there's quite a few ladies that listen to this, if there's anyone that's interested in being a guest on Laura's podcast, reach out, drop me a message.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Obviously, the reason that you've come in today was to talk about your story, your journey into the trades and how you got into that. We had a little chat pre-record about that. So let's get into that. I know you said that you started off as a painter and decorator around about 10 years ago.
I did, yeah.
Let's stop there a moment to say a massive thank you to our headline sponsors, Zinza. Now, Zinza understands the commitment and dedication and long hours it takes to get a job done right. That's why they make the paints and primers that pros trust to do their best work. Plus, if you're looking for support, you can also sign up for pro membership and you'll have access to Zinza's specification team. They make it easy to pick the right products and will work closely with you on site to deliver a solution that meets the highest standards. It's all part of what makes Zinza the mark of a pro. A big thank you to Zinza for continuing to support the Talking Tradesman podcast and helping us spread mental health awareness throughout construction and beyond. Now let's get back to the episode.
So just prior to that, I was in a security job, desk job, got made redundant and was literally twiddling my thumbs. And my dad is in the property business and he'd just purchased a house that needed doing up. So he basically said, go and do that. So I went on, I didn't drive at this point either. I think I was about 24, 25. Didn't drive. So, and it was the job was the other side of town. So I went on the bus with my little 2 steps and my tool bags, 2 tool bags.
Oh, that must have been a nightmare.
2 buses, all the way there, and then coming home in the dark, 2 buses. And my brother-in-law's a seasoned painter and decorator as well. So he would come and show me how to do things properly, cut in and what paints to use on what. I mean, I decorated my own homes before, or the rentals that I'd lived in. But I was no expert at that point. I'd just done DIY decorating basically. So my main points I learnt from my brother-in-law basically. And yeah, I just blitzed this whole house, sanding, filling, cutting in, ceilings, everything. I think I even did a bit of lining paper as well. But yeah, that's how I learned. And then from there, I was doing a few more jobs for my dad and got on board with a letting agency as well. I did learn to drive after a little bit because I thought I can't keep going on the bus. So yeah, I did that for a few years, and then circumstances in my personal life meant I had to get a proper job. So I got back into the security industry and worked for one of the biggest security firms in the country and did shift work. So I was doing 2 days, 2 nights. 4 days a week and then 4 off.
That's rough, that is, Laura, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I must admit, I've never done a lot of shift work, but knowing people that having the split like that is rough because you can't get used to anything. You don't get used to days, you don't get used to nights. Yeah, I don't envy that.
It was really tough, yeah. And I think I was in that job for 7 years, and I think for the first 5 or 6, I did that pattern 2 days, 2 nights. And then luckily I managed to somehow grab a 4-day shift. So I had some sort of normality. Yeah, they were long days. I was leaving the house at, what would it have been, just about 5:30, not getting back till 7:45 at night. So it was long, and it was rolling as well. So you never had the same days off. So you could be working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then you'd start back on the Saturday. So,
and what were you doing in that role?
So I started as a CCTV operator, and we monitored CCTV cameras for a company that has premises around the whole of the UK. And we'd obviously do it day and night. Nighttime, you'd be looking for break-ins or vandalism.
Were they the kind of cameras that you can, like, move?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And during the day, you'd be looking for shoplifters, antisocial behaviour towards staff members.
Also, it was internal as well?
Yeah, it was,
Okay.
So you'd be constantly scouring the shop floors to see if anybody's doing the whole little dodgy looking around and then pocketing something. So, yeah. And then I worked my way up to team leader. So managed a team of operators. And then when I actually joined, it was brand new. So I was part of the first few teams in that division. And I watched it grow. And we started with a team leader and operator. And when I left, it was a team leader and I think 5 or 6 operators. So that maybe even more as well, actually, because we had, the shift patterns ended up being shorter shifts and longer shifts by the time I'd left. So sometimes you might have 9 people on shift that you're looking after. So it was a lot to manage. And the stuff that you would see, it'd stick with you. It definitely stuck with you. People, it was almost like these vulnerable people would seek out these particular stores there was self-harmers that would go into the stores. They'd take razor blades off the shelves and they'd
do it in store.
They'd find a corner and they'd sit on the floor and
Christ, man.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in a store.
What do you even do in that? Did you then call the police from your side or tell that?
You have to contact the store, speak to the store manager and say you need to cordon off aisles, blah de blah, and then they would screen and they would call emergency services from the store because then it would be local. We didn't actually have a direct link to the emergency services, so we could ring for ones around where our control room was, but obviously if it was, say, London or Manchester, we'd have to make contact with the store, so they'd have to ring them. But yeah, it's
a funny one that I volunteered at Samaritans, and I had that a few times where we had to ring emergency services, and I always thought that you just rung 999 and then you could go, you've got a problem going on in Manchester, and they'll just connect you to Manchester, but they don't.
No.
They connect you to your area.
They do.
And then you go through and they're like, well, we can't do anything about that. And you're like, well, can you transfer me? No. It's like, it don't make any sense to me.
Blows your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's not as sort of like organised as you'd think.
I know. Yeah, so there was a couple of occasions that happened. You'd see break-ins that you would never think you'd see. I think I was working one Christmas Eve, and you'd have a big wall of TV screens with multiple cameras on that you'd monitor, like high-risk places, high-risk stores. And all of a sudden, I remember seeing orange sparks and someone was using a big grinder to cut a hole in a shutter. And that particular store, we didn't have any audio connection to it, because sometimes you could press a button and you could shout an announcement through.
Oh, okay.
To kind of put people off, tell them that the police are coming or something like that. But literally that one had nothing. All it had was static cameras. So we literally just had to watch this happen. And they cut a hole in this shutter, couple of transit vans outside, full of wheelie bins. They pulled about 8 wheelie bins into the store, filled them up with products, and then got away before the police arrived.
How long did that take?
They were in and out probably within 10 minutes. Yeah.
Christ.
Mental, isn't it?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I know how wrong it is, but with things like that, there's a part of me that goes, fair play for the organisation. Like, it's not just smash and grab. You've thought about that one.
Yeah.
Like, you know, did they ever catch you, did it?
I don't know if they did, to be honest. It was one of the earliest break-ins that I had to deal with. And no, I don't think they got away. I don't think they got caught. Yeah.
So, I mean, the state of the country now is in a bit of a strange place when it comes to robberies and things like that. I mean, a lot of it, they're just not pursued, are they?
No.
Which then encourages people to do more. And you hear all this stuff about, they won't even investigate if it's below a certain value.
Yeah, we got that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But, along with the shocking break-ins that you'd see and self-harming and stuff, you'd see accidents that would happen. And I remember, again, it was a nighttime shift, and monitoring a particular store, it had external cameras, and it was in the centre of, I think it was York, and you could see the people walking past on a night time. And I glanced at these cameras and I saw somebody lying on the floor. So I checked the other camera angles we had, and there was one that looked up an alleyway that I knew where it was, because I've been past that store in real life, in person. And you saw this person walk. He was actually like jogging past as if he was in a hurry to get somewhere. And we'd kind of established that he'd tripped, because you saw him kind of fall down when you rewound the video, and he'd hit his head. And as he hit his head, he also, I believe he had a heart attack. He was a really big guy, tall guy. And luckily there was a few people, other members of the public walking past. So they went to check he was okay. They called the ambulance and everything. We were able to talk to these people through the cameras.
Wow.
So we checked that they called an ambulance, and they had. And literally, I was on shift with 2 other lads, and I was in charge, so I had to say to them, you guys concentrate on something else, because this is quite a sensitive thing to kind of watch. But I had to keep an eye on it, so to speak, because it happened right outside our store. We would be approached for any sort of evidence in case they thought something unjust had happened to him. So I monitored the situation, and once I'd established what had happened to him, I rang the police and said, I've got some information about an incident that's happened. And I was able to tell them that it was an accident. He wasn't assaulted or anything. And therefore, they were able to portray that to his family. Unfortunately, he didn't come back round. He did die. But, yeah.
It's a real shame, isn't it? I mean, it's life can be so delicate at times. I have this conversation with my son now and again, because like, I've sat here with some people that have like survived incredible things, and you think like everything says that you shouldn't have survived that, but they have. And then the flip side of that is people will literally fall over and never wake up. And it's crazy just how delicate it can be. And then on the flip side of it, how robust it can be when people survive things they really shouldn't. It's it really does sort of, I guess, watching something like that you can't not take that home with you, can you?
No. I mean, I've been out of that job, I think I left in 2003. Yeah, May 2003. And that probably happened a good few years prior to that, so 3 or 4 years prior to that, and I still remember it exactly as it happened.
You would.
Yeah.
It's, again, I think we're becoming so desensitized these days. Do you know what? I had this conversation again with my son today at work. And what it was recently, it's on Instagram now. You can watch. It's on Donald Trump's Instagram page,
Okay.
and he posted a video of basically a positive video saying, "Oh, today we stopped this boat getting to America that had got enough drugs on it to kill 25 or 50,000 people." But the video was of a speedboat going through the ocean and getting blown up, like blown to pieces. And I said to my son, I was like, how mad is it that video shows however many people on that boat getting obliterated, and it's lauded and celebrated, and we're so desensitized to that now. And you talk about like the videos, you can go on social media and watch 100 people die, like not together, like in a massacre, but like you can watch horrific car crashes and accidents and all sorts of horrible things that are now just there.
Everything's caught on camera now,
and we're so desensitized to it in many ways, but we shouldn't be.
I know.
Like, it should be a case of you see something like that and it should stick with you, because it's the end of somebody's life that you've unfortunately had to witness. That shouldn't be normalised.
Yeah.
It's not good that you take it home with you, but at the same time, I'm quite concerned with how things are going now and how fast it moves on.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, oh, this horrific thing has happened here, and within a few days, it's like everyone's just
moved on.
Yeah, next thing, you know.
I think maybe because half the time people now see all these horrendous things on camera, like it's a recorded thing by somebody else. They don't really take it in, do they? Because it's almost like watching telly, or watching YouTube or whatever. So there's that element of it not being real, like, you know. But again, I wouldn't say seeing these things in person is good anyway.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 7 years of being in that role and taking in, and the other thing that it's worth pointing out is, I bet watching people that were shoplifting and things like that at that stage, generally, they're not people that are in a good place, are they?
No.
You're going to have a lot of people that are deep in addiction and things like that. And it's a real conflict, isn't it? Because on one side, you look at that person and you go, you clearly need help.
Yeah.
On the other side, you're like, you're stealing, which is wrong. So that needs to stop. And you've got to like punish them for that behaviour, but at the same time, you can tell that they're really struggling.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
It was really tough. Like you say, it's a battle of heart and head. You've got to always remember why you're there, what your job is.
Yeah.
There was also an element of organised crime in it as well. You would see the same group of people moving around London to different boroughs, different stores. The disguises you'd see that they'd use were shocking. But yeah, when you do see someone stealing and you know that they're living on the street by their appearance, and you just think they're taking what they can to go down the pub, down the corner and get a few bob so they can, whatever. But yeah, it was really, really tough to see. It was just a very, very negative job to have, when the crux of it, so to speak. I worked with some brilliant people, don't get me wrong. I loved the guys that I worked with. Funnily enough, I was the only female as well, which had its difficulties. But yeah, you got to be a special kind of person to do a job like that, I think. And because if you absorb it too much, you do take it home, and it can change you as a person, because effectively that's what it did to me.
In what ways?
It literally made me very negative. And I would go home and I would share it with my partner at the time, because obviously she was interested in my day. And it was just me constantly saying negative stuff. This happened, or this person didn't do this to support me, or this, that and the other. And I didn't realise it at the time that I was like that, until I realised it was affecting my relationship. And I worked all through COVID as well. Like, my life didn't change. I would still go to work. The only thing that changed for me is that there was less traffic on the roads. But yeah, it kind of, it puts a negative, like, set of glasses on you that you don't then want to do anything, because you do these long shifts, you have your days off, and it almost makes you want to shut down and just be in your own little bubble that you know is safe and comfortable.
Yeah. I guess when all you're seeing is like, or looking out for, the negativity in society and negativity in humans, it does make you have a negative output, a negative look. You're always looking at people thinking, I bet you're up to no good. I bet you're a wrong un, this, that and the other. I can empathise on it a bit. I don't know, listening to the podcast, whether you have or not, but I worked as a bailiff for just under 4 years. Same thing. Changed me, definitely changed me, because like you say, all day, every day, you're dealing with negativity, negative thoughts, quite rightly so, many people would think, towards you, but you're under attack, you're on guard, you know, you sort of fight and flight is engaged all the time. And I think a lot of us, we don't really contextualise it properly. Like, you're at work.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you shouldn't be going home after work just absorbent of all that negativity and negative energy. It's going to get in. It's even the most positive of people. Would imagine 7 years doing a job is a long time. Yeah,
I mean, it was the longest job I've ever had. So yeah, I think I mean, I did enjoy it. It was, at the same time as it being a negative environment, I did feel it was quite rewarding, because there were aspects of it where you could make a difference, especially to the staff in the stores.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, doing it for so long, I mean, I was the longest serving person there. As I said, I was there from the very beginning of it. I think you do, if you're quite a sensitive person, and which I am, you do absorb energy, and if negativity is around you for so long, then it's, like you said, it's going to get in. And I'd had enough. I got to a point where it literally broke me. I was getting ready to go on to shift. I believe it was a night shift, and one of the main elements that would make shifts busy on a night would be the weather. So if it was really bad weather, if it was heavy rain, high winds, then your job would be really busy, because...
I thought you were going to say the opposite, you know?
No, really busy, because especially up north, because properties, the stores would leak. You'd get leaks everywhere, or the alarms would go off all the time.
Right.
So, yeah, mad that so many buildings would have these leaks and stuff like that.
I thought you were going to say the opposite, like when it was bad weather, people would stay in and wouldn't be out causing trouble. But
yeah, you would think that, wouldn't you? Less people on the streets if it's raining. But totally different spin on job role. Like, because obviously if it's raining as well, they had stores that were close to rivers and canals. Water level rising, stores flooded. You see, like, points of sale just floating along the shop floor. So say that happens at night, you've got to get hold of staff members to tell them.
By the way, your store's underwater.
Exactly. So you could be dealing with numerous ones of those, and then there's a whole process of reporting, because obviously water damage is expensive, as we know in our job, trying to fix it. So yeah, I was about to go onto a night shift, and I knew the weather was bad, and I literally woke up in tears, and I was like having a panic attack, and I was like, I can't go to work, I cannot go. So I rang my boss, and I was crying down the phone to him saying, I physically can't bring myself to get ready to come into work because I know how much work that I'm going to have to do. And it's just so overwhelming for me. And he was really understanding, bless him. I think he even probably stayed on that day. I didn't go in, and I actually had a couple of shifts off. I took a few extra off because I've never suffered from panic attacks ever.
Terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah. I didn't understand why I was so scared, and I luckily was able to get in touch with a counselling group that was part of our employer. Something that actually happened prior to that day is when I was on shift, one of my good friends, he had a mini heart attack on shift. So we were working, and he was younger than me at the time. I think he wasn't even 30 years old. He wasn't massively overweight or nothing. I'd gone out for a break, and I came back, and he was hunched over his desk, and I was like, what's wrong with him? Because he couldn't talk, and they were like, he's not well. Oh God, my heart sank. So I had to ring an ambulance for him, and they took him away in the ambulance after checking him over, and he'd had a mini heart attack on shift. So going back to this night where I couldn't bring myself to go in, after I'd spoke to some like a counsellor, so to speak, it came out that was also playing a part to my panic. Like, I was unconsciously scared of going back because I didn't know what would happen to the people I was working with on shift.
And because you're team leader, you had the responsibility on your shoulders.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that was kind of the start of the downhill spiral for me of not wanting to be there. Then it literally got to a point where I was like, I literally can't. So I was like, what else can I do? I've done this job for so long. What else can I do? And before I handed my notice in, my relationship at the time actually broke down as well, and partially because of me, what I'd turned into because of that job. I mean, for it to change me so much and take it home and then be a person that my partner didn't recognise, everything literally just fell apart. So I got to a point where I was like, right, I can't do this job anymore. Handed my notice in, and I said, I'm going to work a full month because I knew how hard it would be. It was really hard to get people in to do the job anyway. So I knew how hard it would be to replace me as a team leader. So I gave him some extra time, and I thought, whilst I've got that time, that notice period, I'm going to build my decorating business again. I'm going to start doing that because that's where my passion was. That's what I loved doing. I liked being active. Didn't like sitting down constantly. It wasn't doing my health any good. So yeah, that was my aim. That was build a business again. And
you decided to do all that in amongst a relationship breakdown as well. Yeah,
and it was a relationship breakdown that we had to sell our home. We'd had a house together. We had 2 dogs as well. And it was a very very difficult time where I didn't know where I was going to live. And it was probably one of the first times since my very early 20s that I was going to be on my own. I'd kind of gone from relationship to relationship with no real break to figure out who I was as a person in between them. And it got to the stage where I'd just started my business and me and my ex-partner were sharing custody, so to speak, of the dogs, as you do. And
I've heard that a few times.
Have you?
Yeah,
have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not uncommon. But for me, it got too much because I'd have them for like 2 weeks and then we'd meet up and hand them over. And after a couple of months of doing that, it just got unbearable for me because it was a constant link to her, and she'd inevitably moved on. She'd got a new partner, and that was part of the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. That was just too difficult for me. And I literally had a breakdown one night and got in the car and thought, I can't be in my flat. She had the dogs, and I thought, I've just got to go somewhere. So I got in my car and I was just driving. I didn't have an aim of going anywhere. I didn't know where I was going. And I lived quite close to the countryside. So I was just following the country roads around. And I was thinking, like, would anyone actually miss me if I just disappeared? Like, if I just carried on driving, would anybody miss me? And I thought, I'm very close to my family, my dad, my sister, my mum, and I thought, I can't do anything like that to them. That's just not fair. But it did cross my mind. The thoughts did come into my head where I just don't want to be here anymore. I had nothing. I felt like I had nothing. And that's when I had to say to it's almost, I don't think people will relate to this, but for me, I couldn't keep the dogs that were ours. I said to her, you need to keep them. Because in my head, it was a constant reminder of her, what I couldn't have. And I needed to focus on me, and I couldn't focus on me having to look after them as well, the dogs.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know some people are funny about pets. It's like, why are you so like? Dogs are part of the family, aren't they? I know you've got a dog.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. But I understand exactly what you're saying. If I were to go through a breakdown, I don't think I could keep that link. You know, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like, I mean, I've got kids. I've got 2 kids. I went through a divorce 10 years ago now, and there's always that link. You know, so I understand what you're saying, and if I would never walk away from my kids, ever, and I haven't. But if I could have severed that link to my ex-partner completely, I'd have done it in the blink of an eye. So yeah, I understand. It's a constant tether in the past that prevents you fully moving forwards, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I mean, we were together for 6 years. And like I said, we had a house together. That was the first time I bought a property with anybody. But yeah, it got to that point where I had to say to her, I need you to have him. I need you to look after him because I need to focus on myself. I'd hit literal rock bottom. I was crying every night. Didn't want to see anybody, but then I'd wonder why no one was getting in contact with me. That vicious cycle of I don't contact someone because I don't want to talk to him, but then I wonder why no one's contacting me to see if I'm all right. So it's like, well, obviously nobody cares about me. Eventually, I realised I needed to be around people, and I would spend a lot of time with my dad and my stepmom because they're only like 20 minutes drive from where I live. And I'd just go and have dinner or just rock up and just sit there and we'd watch telly. Didn't have to talk about anything in particular.
It's a good job that you recognise that yourself.
Yeah, I think when I got to a point of crying night after night after night, I realised how many nights I'd done that and spent those on my own, because obviously I was just literally starting to do my decorating whilst I'm going through all of this as well. So I was working and not seeing anybody, because we all know how solitary decorating is if you don't work in a team. And then I'd go home and then I'd sit there.
You've got two. So obviously I've studied and I've looked into a lot in terms of the mental health issue in construction and the key contributing factors to the high suicide rates. And you've named two right there, which one of the main contributory factors is relationship breakdowns, and one of the main issues within construction is long periods of isolated work, of which painters and decorators and plasterers are worst affected because we're the finishing trades. So again, we're more likely than other trades to be on site or in somebody's house on our own. And I've lived that life as well, Laura, because going through a relationship breakdown, same thing. Long days on your own where you're just in your head and you're spinning everything round. It's tough. And some people don't pull through that.
No.
So it's a very real, very dangerous place and time for people to be in.
It is.
And that the mind is a very powerful thing, and when you are left to your own thoughts and devices and you're in a negative mindset anyway, it can be very dark. Definitely.
I think for me, having my parents so close by, I was able to just ask them about their day, kind of find out anything but talk about what I was going through. And don't get me wrong, we did talk, and they're extremely good listeners. And I knew that my stepmom does Reiki and is into crystals, as is one of my stepsisters. And I'd never really I appreciated it, but I never really took much notice of it prior. And I thought it really sparked my interest, kind of learning about what she was doing during the day at work and stuff like that. So she introduced me to crystals and therefore mindset and journaling and everything that comes within that kind of umbrella. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get some books and look into this and stuff. And I've always been a bit like star signy kind of.
Okay, what star sign are you?
I'm a Libra.
Okay.
So very indecisive, but quite balanced. I'm like the mediator constantly. So I'm not a fighter. I mediate. So I started learning all about crystals and what are suitable for me, what energies they bring me, and when I need them during the year, different months, during other horoscopes and stuff like that. I journaled my feelings before I went to bed. So anything that was in my head, I'd write it down.
That's a powerful thing, isn't it? I've not done journaling myself, but I've studied a lot around it, and having that act of unloading your thoughts onto paper, it's just like emptying the mind out, isn't it? Emptying the brain out and getting that, particularly negative thoughts, putting it onto paper is really powerful. Yeah,
it's because you can write down the stuff that you may not want to actually tell anybody.
Yeah.
And you don't have to look at it again.
Sometimes you don't even want to tell yourself.
Exactly.
So it's like an unraveling of a thought, but it's like pulling a thread, a mental thread. Once you put it on paper, sometimes you can actually understand more what you're bottling up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it is in the subconscious rather than the conscious. And sometimes you can have the emotions that come with your thoughts, so like frustration or anger or sadness, but not fully understand why. And it's, I don't understand why I feel this way. But doing stuff like journaling sometimes allows you to pull that thread where you then work out why you feel the way that you feel. And it's like, I get it now because I've put it on paper. Actually, I've worked out that this really bothered me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm feeling like this. So it's a powerful, powerful tool. That's why so many people talk about journaling.
Yeah.
It's not for no reason. And if you are struggling with your mental health and you are down, it's a great place to start.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. Because it doesn't have to make any sense, because you're not giving it to somebody to read. You can literally write things that, because you're not writing a story, you can, but literally any thought that comes in, that is in your head, you can put pen to paper, and then once it's in there, shut it, leave it to the side, and you do feel lighter afterwards. You do, because it is almost like saying it to somebody, but writing down has made it real. It's like it's out there, but not, if you know what I mean, because it's in the book.
Unloading.
Yeah. So I did a lot of that, and I got into a bit of meditation. I know you've tried meditation, haven't you? But
see, I'm a big believer in it.
Yeah.
I can't do. It's one of those things. I say I can't meditate, but if I'm honest, Laura, I've never really tried. I've tried, but I've not actually, gone to educate myself properly. I believe I find meditation in certain things.
Yeah.
So, training's out the window at the minute, but I used to find meditation in the gym for me. It was like stuff like heavy weights, like weight training was my thing.
Yeah.
It would send to me, I believe, my theory on it is that meditation is a simple act of being at one in the moment.
Absolutely.
Now, some people do that in a room, sat on the floor, cross-legged, listening to sounds. All respect to that. Some people will do it sat in a forest on their own. Yeah. And I've spoken to a lot of people just recently. I seem to have gone through a run of hosting fighters.
Yeah.
And one of the things I find fascinating, it's my own deduction, is I speak to some of those lads and they talk about some chaos. Let's pause there a moment to thank this episode's sponsors, Q1. Q1 are a premium masking solution. They offer the ultimate choice for professionals that demand perfection. Whatever you're painting, Q1 tapes deliver clean, sharp lines every time. Q1 tapes are designed for superior adhesion and easy removal, leaving no residue behind. We use Q1 tapes in our business all the time, on every job. In addition to the painter's tapes, Q1 offer a range of surface protection technology, solutions and accessories. You can cover things like worktops, hard floor and kitchen units with a range of Q1 protections. Using Q1, your projects are going to look professional and the results will speak for themselves. Q1 is available at all of your favourite stores and online at q1tapes.com. Thank you to Q1 for supporting the Talking Tradesman podcast and helping us raise mental health awareness in the industry. Let's get back to the episode. Chaos, a life, one of my former guests, Chris Booth, described his life as a life of chaos and carnage.
Wow.
And then I talk to people that have lived those kind of lives, but then when they get into the ring and they do boxing or MMA or bare knuckle, whatever they're doing, because they're in that moment, because if they switch off, there's very real physical consequences. They hit that flow state.
Yeah.
And a couple of, again, a shout out to another former guest, Aaron Ashton, who's a bare knuckle heavyweight. I remember specifically him talking about his past and how going through one of the hardest points in his life, he found the gym and training and then fighting. And he said that the noise all went away while he was fighting. To me, that's meditation.
Yeah. That's
being at one, because you've got to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very severe, potentially the most extreme form of meditation is standing in front of somebody that's trying to rearrange your face, but it forces you to be there.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like sports people, will talk about flow state.
Absolutely.
To me, that's meditation. It's being at one in the moment with no present. Other thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's it. Where I struggle is being with my thoughts. I can't switch them off. If I'm not doing, I need to be in the act of doing to find meditation personally. It's something I'd like to dedicate some time to exploring. One day I will. I've just not got to it yet.
Yeah, fair enough.
But your so what is meditation to you?
Mine was more about being as I am and not necessarily turning off my thoughts, but to stay focused, being in the moment and connect it to me as a body, so to speak. So focusing on your breathing and how you feel, what emotions are coming up in the moment, and then how you feel about accepting them, or if you don't want to, and then if you acknowledging if you want to cry in that moment, because you are acknowledging your feelings and just being still. For me, it was. Now it's kind of evolved a little bit, whereas, now I find it in painting, in decorating.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
Like in the zone, cutting in, and rollering.
See, I find that when people say that what they like and don't like, I like paper hanging. I find, to use the word, but I find certain paper, I mean, don't get me wrong, some drive me mad. But if you get a nice paper, where there's good quality paper, and your room, even if it's a bit of a challenge, I find it therapeutic, because again, it challenges me to concentrate.
Yeah.
One of my issues is I've been in the industry for quite a long time. 24 years I've ran my business. And what that means for me is that I can switch off a lot, because I've done a lot. Like the job we're on at the minute, perfect example, straightforward job, very nice house, minimal run-of-the-mill preparation and repainting an entire house. Doesn't engage me mentally, because it's just autopilot. I know how to do that. I've done it a million times. I find paper hanging is a little bit more like, it's a puzzle to solve. It's a new paper, it's a new pattern, it's a new room. Everyone's different. Engages me a bit more mentally. But I get that therapeutic feeling from doing it, because it engages my brain to be in the moment, focused on what I'm doing, rather than all the noise that's going on.
And just running the norm with the painting. Normal process. No, I can definitely get on board with that for sure. When you do a job that does make you have to think a bit more. Yeah, definitely.
That's like cutting in, though. You got to focus to get that line, and you're focusing on that line.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a reason why, like the Japanese culture, where they do the gardens, the like sand gardens, rock gardens, and the patterns, and to me, all of that is meditation. It's just various different forms of it. I think there's that concept of meditation is only being sat.
There is,
different forms. I think with what you're describing, it is a little bit more reflective.
Yeah, it was initially. Initially, it was that very much typical type of meditation, and trying to use crystals to absorb their energy and stuff like that. Now, I don't necessarily sit and meditate anymore. It's more of a acknowledging in the moment my feelings and processing them. It's so strange. It's you almost, through the process of meditation, say you're driving along, you realise your feelings and you acknowledge them, and you can think to yourself, well, why did I feel like that? Why am I letting it affect me? Just let it go. And it took a while for me to get there, and you do get to a point where you can realise your thoughts and your emotions, and then think, don't let that bring me down. Don't let that external thing affect me so much. Move on. Don't let it drag your energy down. Because essentially, I got to a point where delving into energy and how you can use it and what that then takes your mindset to, because effectively I had to find a way to change my mindset, because I was at rock bottom. I needed to find something to pick me back up, and realizing these crystals had so much energy and what the universe does and how it can feed you and take you from being so down and hard on yourself to realizing you've actually got quite a lot going for yourself. And you can change your mindset and start looking at positive things instead of constantly focusing on negatives. Then you do start to feel happier.
Where does that... hands up here, I don't know anything about... I've heard of crystals and obviously energy. Energy fascinates me. Yeah, there's a lot of this stuff that I would have just been like, yeah, when I was maybe 10 years ago, but I'm very open-minded to a lot of things. You know, there's a lot of stuff in like normal terminology that we use that relates to energy, you know, like, oh, there's a bad vibe. Like vibrations, it's energy, it's vibrations of the universe, it's vibrations of people. You can tell, like, when somebody walks into a room with bad energy.
Exactly.
Because everyone, it's like, it's contagious.
It's an aura that someone's got.
Yeah, there's like a heaviness.
Everyone's got an aura around them, which is effectively their energy field.
This is it. And when you talk about these things, you can't really put it into words sometimes, but once you become aware of it, I'll say quite often now, I need to protect my energy. I can't be around certain people because, you know, it's damaging. And I never used to understand that before. So I'm very protective of myself, I think, who I guess socialise with, or the space that I'm in. I'm very happy in my own space now. I don't feel the need to be around lots of people, because I find that can be quite it's quite dangerous almost, because in large groups there's always going to be people that are there to take energy rather than give it. Absolutely. You know, metaphorically and not. But the crystal elements, I know absolutely nothing about, Laura, to be honest.
Yeah, it's I think over the last few years it's become more popular, so to speak. I think maybe in...
So if you were to give me like a dummy's guide, like a crash course on crystals, like what they are, what they do, how would you do that?
So I've actually got some in my pocket.
Have you?
Yeah, I always carry them on me. If I could get them out of my pocket. I've got some on my wrist as well. But
okay.
Yeah, so right. I've got a couple in my pocket here, and some of them are specific to my star sign and my energy field as a person within that when I was born. The others are ones that give me certain energies that I may feel I'm lacking at this particular time. So like confidence or...
So just to explain that to me, so the theory there then is that there's an energy stored within the crystal.
Correct.
That you can absorb?
Yes.
And I mean, I guess I'm kind of thinking like petrol in a car kind of logic here, but is there a limit to that? Do they run out?
It can be, yes, because funnily enough, my stepsister, have you heard of citrine?
Yeah, there's the only reason I've heard of it is
I know
the shoes.
What you say. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
So it's a yellowy stone that's a bit yellowy, like see-through glass type colour. And my stepsister said that she's had one, and she's had it on her person so much that it's glazed over now, like the yellow has gone. And it's not been from any other element. It's literally because she's had it on her person for such a long time.
So what's the story with citrine? Like what is that?
So citrine's, I believe, if I hopefully get this right, it's the crystal for abundance, and therefore it promotes an energy of positivity and potential, effectively. So say you are starting a new venture of some kind, so podcast or a new business, then it would be a good one to have in your pocket or around your wrist.
So again, analogy, I'm going to liken it to they're almost like energy batteries.
Yeah.
Different energy in a crystal. So when you say crystal, I think like
diamond.
Yeah,
yeah, or
exactly.
ruby or
so when I see
sparkly.
them, I see stones.
Stones,
yeah.
I know. They do look like stones, just colourful stones. I mean, you can call them gemstones, I guess, because they're not sparkly crystals. But because as long as you source them from a reputable place, they do come from the earth. So their energy has been absorbed from the earth, and they're formed through pressure, like crystals are effectively. Diamonds, like that type of pressure cooker, and then that's how they form. They're technically absorbing the energies from the earth that they've been produced in. And yes, some people might think, nah, I don't believe that type of jargon, but I think part of it is believing in it, and then
belief has a huge power to it.
Yeah,
it really does. I mean, listen, jury's out with me. I'm very much these days. What do I know? Do you know what I mean? It might well be like, do I know anything about it? No. You believe it, that's enough. It might well be, and I don't mean that from like I don't mean that like detrimentally. It's just like it could, like, who am I to say it's not true? Of course it might be true. Like there's no way of there's so many things in life like that we can't detect and pick up, and the spectrum of human vision is so limited and narrow compared to what's in existence. There could be like a certain filter that you could see, and those things might be emanating like a glow or a vibration or a buzz or whatever that you just can't see. I mean, there's all these things that we commonly accept, like radiation. You know, if you were to go near a nuclear reactor, there's this thing that's going to kill you that you can't see that will be attached to a very small object. We seem to believe in all the negative stuff, but when it's positive, and I've said this before about the power of the mind and mindset, is that nobody would argue with me at all if I were to say, stress can cause heart attacks. Yeah, of course it can.
Yeah.
Well, what stress? It's in here. But if you flip that round and you start talking about the positivity of like the positive physical benefits of a positive mindset, it's like hippie.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
What load of bollocks.
Yeah.
Like, how is one acceptable and one not?
Exactly.
But there's so many things now. I mean, Wi-Fi. We're surrounded by it, right? All our devices. I can't see it. Can you see it?
Nope.
So that's what I mean. Like, if you're saying that there's energy within those, like, of course there could be, because there's so many things that we know exist and we can't see.
Yeah, definitely. And finding out more about these and what they do and how they could benefit me, it gave me a positive focus at that time in my life, and I got into reading more books because of it. It took me away from the negative stuff on telly, the news, the silly soaps and stuff that we all can get addicted to.
I believe you can absorb the same negative energy through that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you named it earlier, but that, like, COVID was a prime time for that, Laura. For me, every time you put on the telly, you were just bombarded with negativity, death rates, fear, scare. And you could see it in people where the people literally like shriveled up.
Yeah.
So what you expose yourself to is really important. Absolutely. I'm much the same as you. Like, I very rarely watch the news.
I don't,
because the news is just doom. That is all it ever is.
I think I turn it on in the morning whilst I'm having my coffee and breakfast before I go to work. And most of the time I turn the sound off anyway, because I'm just fed up of them arguing over stuff that they can't affect because it's out of their control, and I don't need to start my day with negative like that.
It's always negative though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You never turn the news on and see happy, positive stories.
No.
So,
like, the only positive you might see is that it might have sunshine on the weather.
Do you know what, though? Listen, I'm going to go off on one here. They've even tried to negative that. Like, perfect example, right? When I was a kid, you put the weather on. If it was going to be a sunny day, 28, 30 degrees, you'd look at the map. You remember this if you're old enough. You look at the map of England, sun. Just like, and they used to even, some of them had happy faces in.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, smiley faces, sun. Now, if you have 28 degrees, they've created this map and it is severe weather warning.
That's true.
Red, black, scary. And now they're trying to terrify you of a sunny day. So they can even make that negative.
Valid point.
Yeah, it pisses me off. Like, come on. It's either too hot, too cold, too windy. I'm not a big believer. You know, this whole naming of storms as well. Like, fucking grow up.
What is that?
Grow up.
We've even come back round, haven't we? Now we're back on A this year.
Yeah, was it Amy was the last one? But then you get people walking around, and again, I think it's fear. Give it a name, it becomes this thing, this beast. 10 years ago, it was like, it's going to be a bit windy on Friday. Yeah. You're seeing there's forecast for wind. Now it's like Storm Amy is coming. They've personified it and created this monster. And it's like, oh, don't go out. Storm Amy will get you. Yeah. Like, no, mate, it's a bit windy and wet. That's it. Like, we live in America or somewhere like that. I understand it, because if you've got Hurricane Amy coming, threat to life, 300 mile an hour winds, tornadoes, all that shit, give it a name. That's called. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fair.
But in England, we really fucking don't. Like, maybe one a year at best, where they're like, yeah, this one might blow a tree or two down.
Yeah.
But it ain't gonna. You know what I mean? You're not talking threat to life and displacement, generally speaking. Stop putting a name on them. It's fucking pathetic. Like, if it's going to be really, really bad, I think there should be a maximum of like one a year in the UK. When we're winter now, I don't know how many it'll be. We could count them. There'll probably be 30 over the winter. It's like, oh, Amy's just left the building, but we've got Adam's coming tomorrow. He's here next week. Like, it's just a bit of fucking rain.
It's
Grow up.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Everything's just a disaster. Everything's so big. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying.
Panic.
They've demonised hot weather, cold weather, storms. It's all just negativity. They've put this huge negative spin on everything.
Yeah.
So.
Can't be having it.
No, get your crystals out. Fuck the news off. But I mean, let's sort of take, I guess, a bit more positivity into this podcast.
Yeah.
So you've had these conversations with your stepmom.
Yes.
She's educated you in this kind. And how has it been? Has it really, have you managed to change your mindset? Have you took that into your business?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, along with taking on board the advice and positivity from both my stepmom and my dad and my other family members, of really focusing on positive thoughts, what could happen, not the doubts, not the positives. It literally was like a switch. Crazy, really. And I was like, right, I'm knuckling down with my business. I'm really enjoying it. Got to a point where I thought, right, well, I'm working out of my car. I've now got to get a van, so that's a positive move forward. Got the van sign written, another positive thought forward. More and more customers, word of mouth is spreading. And it was just, it felt like, because I'd changed my energy and my thought process, the possibilities were coming, more possibilities were coming my way. And I do believe it's what you put out into the universe, you get back. And that's what started to happen for me. And yeah, I just kind of went from strength to strength, really. And along the way, learning about myself and who I was again, learning about what I liked, because of all those years that I literally were swallowed up by negativity in my old job, and it kind of just lost myself as a person. So it was learning what I like, going and doing what I like to do, getting into nature, walking, and whilst doing that, processing thoughts and letting them go if I don't need them, if they're not going to serve me, let them go. And again, being around people that are of the similar energy, it kind of, you start to recognise friends or family members that kind of are takers of your vibe. And yeah, they don't necessarily need as much of my time compared to others. But yeah, definitely after a year or two of building me as a person again, and having a focus, having a passion again, finding a passion in my decorating again, and then effectively finding another one in podcasting, just constantly challenging myself and putting myself out of my comfort zone, because even though I do a podcast, being a guest is something different.
Laura, it's a brave thing to do. I've exactly the same. I've been in your shoes. I've done it. And yeah, my story is very similar in terms of being negative in the past and then flipping that mindset. And now it's really, truly is a mindset of, yeah, I'll give anything a go. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Why can't it work out for me?
Exactly.
Whereas I used to think the opposite, and that has done things like open the doors to this. I'd never have done this, 10 years ago, because I'd have been assured it was going to fail.
Yeah.
And I see that with you, obviously, going out and starting a podcast. It takes some balls. But forgive that.
I know what you mean.
Life of a female trade is the worst description ever. But it does take some bravery to do it, because you are putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself out there to the masses. Conveniently, the audience are all hidden behind the cameras, so you can't actually see them. But like last year, I did public speaking for the first time.
I saw, yeah.
I was terrified, mate.
I bet you were.
Like public speaking, if you'd have asked my wife, like when I first met her, my number one thing I would not do was that. I didn't do a speech at our wedding.
Didn't
Like,
you?
no. I
Oh,
was
wow.
like, absolutely not. I will not do it. I don't want to do any kind of public speaking.
Yeah.
And now I find myself on a podcast that goes out to quite a few people and taking on a public speaking. A few now. I've done a few of them.
Fair play.
But again, it was that adopting a mindset of, if something makes me feel uncomfortable, do it.
Yeah.
So if I get offered to do something, will you do this? And it makes me feel like, oh, then yeah, 100% I'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And the growth that comes from that is like,
and the
epic.
confidence that comes with it as well.
Yeah,
like, yeah, it is the thing of putting yourself out of your comfort zone makes you grow. And if it's something that you inevitably fail at, then you've learnt something.
Yeah.
And then you go again and you do it better because you've learnt something from it.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to fail. That's what I think half of...
Cherish it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you don't learn anything if you don't try.
No, cherishing failure is a game changer. So one of the big game changers for me was I studied philosophy, and I in particular studied Stoic philosophy, the Stoics. And adopting Stoic mindset is, for me, it was life changing. And learning to do things like see the good in everything, essentially, the positives in everything, and that reversal of like, oh, this has happened, and rather than dwell on it, go, okay, well, that means I can do this now. Oh, that went terribly, but I've learned this, so it was actually a positive because I've learned a lesson I didn't know before that went so wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just completely reframes everything to the point where now it's like, well, I'll give it a go, and if it goes bad, the very worst case is I've learned something.
Exactly.
You take something and you grow from it. So, yeah, it's great to see. It's great to see people like you pushing into different spaces, like the podcast and things. Where do you see it going? Have you got any like aspirations?
Do you know, my dad asks me that all the time.
I mean, I'm one that believes as well that you don't have to have a future plan.
And I don't at the moment. I'm be truly honest. I don't have something in my mind as where I want to get. I'm just enjoying the journey at the moment, and it will be what it will be.
It's the best place to be. I had people ask me the same question. So I'm 108 episodes in or something like that now. But I had a lot of people say that to me, probably around about the same mark as you. It was that point of people going, he's still here. So it's actually, there's something that, and then you get there like, where do you see it going? The amount of people that asked me, you know, are you going to quit decorating then? Is this going to be your thing? And I'm like, no, I have no idea what I'm doing with this. I was speaking to somebody today, actually. It was a brand that I've been talking to, and they were on about, I won't say what or where yet, but on about sending me out something for the studio. And I was like, yeah, sound. I was like, and they asked me if I wanted a certain product. And I went, well, if I can't use it in the studio, I'll use it on site. Like, and they were like, what do you mean on site? I was like, I'm a painter and decorator. They were like, I had no idea you were in the trades. Like, I do a podcast called the Talking Tradesman, but you know, it's but same thing. It's a bizarre thing, and you'll have it where people first get to know you. So when I started the podcast, everybody knew me from my business, which is RDP, and then I started this, and I had all that support from the people that knew me as a painter.
Okay.
But now I'm so far into the podcast, I've got people that are being introduced to me as a podcast host, and I've got no idea that I'm a decorator. You know, I've had some people come up and they'll be like, so what did you used to do before you were podcasting? Used to do. I'm still well and truly in it, which is a bit, I take it as a compliment. It's a bizarre thing. And, you know, hopefully that'll be in your future too, because the more you put yourself out there, I mean, you going to the show in November?
Of course. Yeah.
See, that'll be one for you.
Yeah. And actually this year, I've been the previous 2 years just for a single day of one of the two, and I've actually gone with my dad. My dad's come with me. Okay. Yeah. Because he's really interested in it all as well, because he's got his property business. He's got a portfolio, and he likes to be a bit hands-on with stuff. So he finds all of the stands really interesting. So the first time I was going, I was brand new back into decorating. I'd never been before, so I was like, Dad, do you want to go with me, because I'm a bit scared? So the last 2 years we've been together. This year he's actually on holiday for the first day, so I'm going to be going on my own, and then the second day we're going to come back and go together.
That's cool.
So, yeah,
it's I mean, for anyone that's listening that isn't a decorator, we're talking about the National Painting and Decorating Show, which is on at, I was going to say the Rico Arena, but it's not that anymore. Coventry Building Society, I think it's called now.
That's right.
It used to be the Rico, in Coventry on the 18th, 19th of November.
Yep.
It's proper surreal for me. So this will be the 4th year that I've been, and I never used to go, Laura, to be honest. Like, no, 24 years in business, and people would talk to me about it. I'd be like, no, I don't. Why would I go to that and lose 2 days' work when I could be? And that was... Prior to doing all this, I was so focused on business and money and profit and turnover, and that was it. I was just like, 2 days off to do what? To get a few freebies? Because I didn't see beyond my limitations, my own glass ceiling of, I'm a decorator, that's all I can do. There's nothing more to this. And obviously now the things like the relationships with brands and getting to know brands and then brand deals and sponsorships, partnerships, all that kind of stuff, you have to be at these events.
Yeah.
But so this will be year 4. The first year I went just as a painter and decorator. And if I'm honest with you, I walked in and I just thought I shouldn't be here. I walked in, I knew nobody. And it was a bit like, wow, you know, bright lights, big stands.
It's big, isn't it? Yeah.
Busy. But and everyone seemed to know each other. And I walked around thinking, I don't know anyone. And I remember seeing a surreal moment. I saw, you know, the Bold Builders.
Yeah.
So this was like 4 years, and I saw Brad, and I was like, I've seen this guy.
No way.
And that was a bit weird, because I was like, oh, I don't know, should I go and say hello? But I was like, no, of course he ain't going to know who I am.
That's literally like me the last 2 years, because I've literally been stood this close to Kev, Paint Warrior.
Okay.
And he's talking to somebody else, and he's looked me in the eyes, and I've still just like, I've like froze, and then I've walked away.
It's
sorry, Kev.
Honestly, Laura, it's weird. I mean, first year, so I probably went on my own, walked around it. I was maybe there 2 hours, and I got out of there because I was like, I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Second time I went, I think I didn't go the year after. I went the year after that. So it was like 3 years between the 2 visits. And by then, I'd built up my socials a little bit as RDP, and I'd got a bit of a relationship with a few brands.
Okay.
So I went because they were like, oh, you come into the shit. And so I went and met a few people that I'd spoken to online, which was cool. because I'd started to communicate a bit more in the community of decorators, and there were a few people I knew that same thing. You go in, we're meeting up at this time. So got to meet people, and I enjoyed it then.
Okay. Went
round, got to meet a few. Last year I went.
I saw you last year across the way. I couldn't find you after that. I was looking for you all day.
Yeah.
And I never saw you again.
I didn't go far. I was stuck. I was not stuck. I was on the Arrowworthy stand for the thing. But it was a mad experience last year. It really was.
Really busy, wasn't it?
Really busy. And from my side, it was just bizarre because it seemed like everyone knew me, which I was just like, why do people know me? And I remember at one stage, I was like, I'm going to go for a walk. And I walked from the one side, from where Arrowworthy was, to the other side, in a straight line. I just tried to get to the other side of the hall. It took me 4 hours to get there and back. Because every few steps, it was like, it's in the podcast or blah, 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 which was lovely. And it's really weird when people that I don't know stop me, because prior to that, I knew everyone that stopped me, kind of thing. Which was a great experience, but surreal. It really was. It was bizarre. And I met up with a friend who I bumped into the other side of the hall. They're like, how are you doing? I was like, I'm trying to look around, but I just can't. I can't get anywhere. And they were like, I'll come back with you to the Arrowworthy stand. I was like, yes, and so it might take a while. And they sort of like laughed. And it was literally, I think I took 2 steps. And then somebody was like, oh, Russ, I heard this episode with so-and-so, and which was lovely. It was lovely meeting people and having all these conversations, but really surreal to be recognised on that level.
Yeah.
And then this year, I'm going back, 4th year, I've got my own stand there this year.
Have you really?
Yeah, so I've got my own stand.
Wow.
And I'm speaking on both days as well. So I've got like public speaking booked in again. Ooh. So that progression is just like, what the fuck is happening? So yeah, it's mad. So yeah, really grateful to be offered the stand. And we're going to have a stand. So for anyone listening, come and find me at the P&D show. We're going to have a stand there representing the podcast. And I've got a professional therapist that's coming.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I want to be there to do exactly this. So the idea is to essentially have the same sort of setup and be there for people that want to talk about mental health. We're going to have a few fun things on the stand, some prizes to win and things like that. But to be there and try and have that open conversation on mental health. And one of the things I said when we had the conversation about building the stand with the organisers was, look, if we're going to do this and want people to be able to come and talk about mental health if they want to, if somebody were to come up who was in crisis or struggling, I mean, don't get me wrong, if it happens, it happens. That's great. I'd love somebody to open up. Hopefully it won't happen because nobody will be there in that kind of dark place. But if they are, like, I want somebody there on the stand to give professional advice, professional support. So we're going to have a proper qualified therapist there for the 2 days. Brilliant. Just for people. And don't get me wrong, if you come onto the stand, you don't have to be in crisis at all. Come and have a chat with her. Like, she's amazing, very knowledgeable about mental health. So yeah, that's the plan at the moment. It's evolving. There'll be more to it by the time it all gets settled. So, but yeah, brilliant. Hell of a story from sort of walking around completely unknown and being very out of place to now having a stand at the biggest show is like, it's mad.
Wow.
Really.
The progression in a year, eh?
And that's how it can go. Though, Laura, that's the thing. Once you open yourself up to that growth and the opportunities, they're there.
Absolutely.
Should be you in a couple of years, mate. We'll be sharing a stand, the podcast stand. Ooh. They'll have a whole section of podcasters. Yeah. There's a few now, aren't there? A few podcasts that are coming out. So respect to each and every one of you because, it's very rewarding, but it's not easy. No,
it's very time consuming. If you don't see or
you glad
hear.
You started?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't know what I'd be doing if I hadn't started it. Probably not a lot, but
And what about the business? Like, is everything moving in the direction you wanted it to in terms of the P&D?
Yes, I'm very happy with it. I am booked up until February next year.
Superb.
Yeah, so I'm a good where are we, October?
Yeah, so we're at the beginning of October, so you got October, because it'll be a few weeks till this comes out and people be like, that ain't that long. It won't be that long actually, so it'll still be like, so you got October, November, December, January, February, 5 months. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
I think I'm around about that, to be honest. Yeah. think we're mid-Feb, I think, at the moment. Yeah.
I do like there's that whole debate, isn't there, about how far ahead you should be booked up on social media, should I say. And I like being booked up months in advance.
Yeah.
Because you know what you're getting then, income-wise, don't
Yeah.
you? You know, if it's not always the same, if you've got events during that month or whatever that will take you off the job, you know where you can kind of recoup the following month, etc. So yes, it can kind of push out the chance to have new customers, but if everyone that, I mean, I've had, I can't count, I've lost count of how many inquiries I've had over the last 2 weeks. I had one today actually, and when you tell them you booked up until January, February, they're like, oh, wow, okay, well, you must be good then. It's always that, you must be good then, isn't it?
You know what, Laura? It's a battle I used to struggle with because I used to hate turning down work. I was used to see it as a missed opportunity. And you'd always try and take things on, and your people would ring, oh, but I really need it done this month. And then you get your diary out and you're like, oh, if I can work a bit later there and create 3 days here and I can work a weekend. I don't do that anymore. I used to, and respect to anyone that is. If you're trying to establish a business, I get it. But to me, it's not sustainable long term. No. I think everyone's different. I speak to loads of decorators online, very good decorators, and some don't even give out dates. They basically go, yeah, you're third in the queue and I'll let you know when that'll be.
Oh, wow.
If that works for you, fantastic. I personally don't feel comfortable unless I've got at least a 3-month parachute in front of me.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, touch wood. Let's go touch that. Then I've got wood here. That's never normally a problem. 24 years in business, very, very rare that I've got any less than that in terms of a lead time. A lot of the time we're 6 to 9 ahead. My work seems to come in like 3 hits. Now, I tend to get the inquiries that want it done before Christmas.
Yeah.
I probably turn away, not through being snobby with it, but just availability-wise, I'll turn away maybe twice as much as I take on, just because I get those inquiries. Oh, can you do it before Christmas? No, sorry.
Yeah, you've got to be quick, haven't you? A customer to get in before Christmas.
And it's, I'm just, but I won't entertain it now, whereas I used to. So it's just, no, I'm sorry, my next date's in mid-Feb. Oh, we can't, no. Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, well, we'll have to go elsewhere then. Okay.
That's fine.
That's absolutely fine. There's enough to go around. Please do.
Absolutely.
My customers, my own customer base, know me, so they know to get in early. They will give me loads of notice. And new customers, as much as I don't like turning work away, I don't need all of it.
This is it, exactly. And when I started the business back up, part of the reason I started it is because I wanted to manage my own time, and from the beginning, I was adamant I was not working weekends. That was my time.
Yeah.
So I started Monday to Friday, did that for the first... I don't think I even did it for the first year before I thought, I need an extra day off. It was getting too much physically for me. And also, it was eating into my time, having to buy products and materials for the next job. So I was like, right, I'm going to trial having a Monday off. And it's the best thing I ever did.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So Monday, I'm not on the tools.
Yeah.
But I'll schedule any quotes if I can that day. I'll buy materials that day. And if I need to update my accounts or whatever, then I'll do that as well. So not on the tools working, but I am technically working.
It's funny, isn't it, Laura? Because I'm guilty of doing the same thing, where we consider that if we're not on the tools, we're not working. Yeah. You're still working Monday.
Absolutely.
You're just doing the admin and the office work, which is still work. People do that for a living.
Yeah.
And they don't go home and go, I've had a day off today.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I have this conversation with my son. I don't see this as work, but it is a kind of work. So in reality, I started work this morning at 7, and it might be whatever time I get home. Some nights it's 8, 9 o'clock at night. I wouldn't change it. I'm not moaning, but I think a lot of us as trades do need to realise that the admin is work.
Yeah.
Social media is work.
Yeah.
I think it was a long time ago now, but I had Rich, Major League Rich.
Oh, yeah.
So I had him in, and I asked him, because he was telling me how he'd see my memory, Rich. If you listen to this, I do remember the conversations. He was a chef and he'd come into decorating, and he said that it was a lot less hours.
Yeah.
And I said to Rich at the time, but I said, fair enough, how many hours do you think you do? And he was like, I don't know, maybe 37, 40 at most. I was like, okay, sound. At work? He was like, yeah, at work. I said, what about your quoting, your estimating, your social media, your this, your that? And he was like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's at least an extra. And for a lot of us now, I mean, talking social media, like it does chew hours. Yeah. Whether you're, see, I mean, I'll take a bit of a bird's eye view on it. If you're on your social media channels and you're on your work page and you're scrolling and you're checking out other people's work and you're comparing and learning, that's work. You're in work
Education.
mode. You're engaged in work. Then you've got maintaining, responding to comments, networking. It's all work.
It is, yeah.
And there's a lot of time goes in. I wouldn't change it.
No.
But I think we have to realise that actually sometimes when we do need a break, it's a complete break. It's not just I'm not physically on the tools today.
Definitely.
But it's really good having an admin day. I've tried to do 4-day weeks for about 5 years.
Have you?
I just can't do
you know, it's funny because through the podcast and just prior to me starting mine, I spoke to a couple of other decorators, female decorators, that had openly broken down on their social media as if, as in saying, this is too much, I don't know what to do, I might just stop business altogether. And I've spoken to them and I've said, I know that feeling and this is what I've done. Maybe consider it if it works for you and your lifestyle. Trial it, see what happens. And they're now doing 4-day weeks.
Really?
Because it doesn't, I know everyone's probably thinking, well, what about the finances? Surely they've got mortgages or kids or whatever, responsibilities. But if you can make it work, you can, then if it's better for you and it takes you out of that panic mode, survival mode of thinking, well, it's either I continue as I am or I just stop altogether, then try it.
Do you know what, Laura? The problem is some people have got a fascination with being at work. So that like time on site, time on the job, whether that's 5 days or 7 days a week, I would argue, and it's not taking shots at anyone, I'm against the glorification of weekend working.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a bit of that like, oh, you know, big up the Saturday workers, big up the Sunday
Weekend
workers.
warriors, yeah.
Fucking bad for you.
Absolutely.
Like, don't glorify that shit.
I don't.
But I would argue that somebody that's working continual 7 days a week, their productivity is going to drop because you're going to be exhausted. You're not going to be working at your best. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to miss things, forget things. So if you can have a day off or an extra day off, maybe actually, yes, you might be working technically on the tools for 4 days, but maybe your output is exactly the same as if you were there 5 days.
Or better.
And that's the mindset. My words, man. Mindset shift of that whole thing of being at work is the thing. Because again, there's people that will be like, oh, I do 10 or 12 hour days, but they might have 2 or 3 hours throughout the day where they're having breaks or they're tired. So they're like, I'm going to have an hour.
Slow.
I'm going to have an hour for lunch. I'm knackered or I'm slow, or like I say, they cock something up. So then they have to do it twice.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm quite strict with my hours as well when I'm at work. Depending on where I'm working, I either start at 8:30 or 9:00, depending on the travel that I've got to do. But I'll always finish by 4. And the only time that I work past that is if I'm not back there the next day and it has to be finished.
Yeah.
Because then that's my time.
Yeah.
And it's up to me. It's my responsibility to make sure that I'm progressing on that job within the time frame that I've set. Because otherwise, I'm taking away from myself and eating into time I might want to go to the gym or something like that. So it is a process, and it's you've got to learn how quick you work, and how best to manage your time, when to have your breaks, when it's most efficient, when you know that you're slumping, do you need to have a 10-minute like fresh air break or whatever? so it is a process. It's a learning curve. But anybody that's struggling, I'd definitely advise trying.
Look at how you're doing. Look at how you're working.
Yeah. And give yourself that recovery time.
It's a really important topic, Laura, because what we're touching on essentially is burnout.
Absolutely.
Which is another real problem in the construction industry. And what you're describing is how you manage not burning out.
Absolutely.
And I'm a massive hypocrite because I say a lot of things and don't always do what I say. But I am very conscious of my own body. I guess me personally, I'm getting a bit frustrated now because I've always been all in when I'm at work. So I would work a short day but intense.
Okay.
So if I were to do anything, I tend to turn up in the morning. I'll set a target for the day.
Yeah.
Need to finish this. Whatever time I finish it is when I'll finish.
Right.
Generally speaking, because of my experience, I'll be able to work that out to a normal working day, or a little bit shorter. But with that, I don't stop a lot. I don't take many breaks. I'm a nightmare. Like if a customer makes cups of teas, I'll drink them. Love a cup of tea. But if a customer goes to work and is like, I've left you the stuff out for a cup of tea, it's very rare I'll stop and make a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Because I'll just get into it and I'm like, let's get this done.
See, that's where we differ. I don't drink tea. And I don't drink coffee during the day either.
Okay.
I'll have a coffee before I go to work, and then I'll take water or like electrolytes and stuff like that to drink during the day. But I do have set times where I'll have a break. So I'll have like 15 minutes at about 11, and then I'll have something to eat about 1. And then if I need a little break in the afternoon, it's the 2 o'clock slump for me.
Okay.
So maybe just after 2 o'clock, I'll have 10 minutes, and then I think, right, just battle on the last bit and get it done. But again, I'm quite similar to you in the aspect that I will have written down what I need to get done that day.
Yeah.
So you've almost allotted in your mind the time to each task, isn't it? Like the prep, the sanding of the skirting boards and door frames, etc., and then undercoating, etc. So it's that mental process that allows you to manage your time better, I think, on a job. It's effectively organisation, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, experience.
Yeah.
Once you've done something a lot, you work out how long it takes. I think the only thing I'm a little bit more kind to myself on is wallpapering. And that goes back to what my granddad taught me years ago. And he was like, Russ, never paper when you're tired. If you start to get tired, put it all down, go home. Because that's when you'll make a mistake. And I've always took that to heart. So I've always I need to be on it for wallpapering. And I do tend to slow myself down, pace, stand back,
Yeah.
Other than that, I put quite a lot of pressure on myself, I think, throughout the day to push and push and push and push. And if I'm being honest, I mean, I've hit my 40s now. I can't work like I used to in my 20s, but I do.
I know what you mean.
It's having that one gear, one speed, and then a little bit of frustration creeps in now. I don't think I'm slowing down, but I feel different at the end of the day. So I'll get to the end of the day now if I've pushed and I'm like, fuck, I'm knackered. Yeah. I've got nothing left for the evening then. When I was in my 20s, I was like, right, sound, football tonight, gym, blah, blah, blah. So I need to navigate that. That's in my future. I need to work out how that looks, because maybe I could do that. Maybe I could do 4 days a week and keep the same pace and be fine, because there's this dilemma of once you start to get older, you are going to slow down. That's biology.
Yeah.
But I don't want to earn less than I do now.
There you go.
So do I charge my customers more to make up for my slowing down? Because it's not their fault. Why should they pay more?
No.
Or do I charge less, essentially, because maybe a job that I used to take 5 days, I'm going to allocate 6. Who pays for that 6th day, me or them? Do you know what I mean?
It's a question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's it's one of those things when I see some of the old boys in the trade, and a massive credit to them, still working at. My dad was one. My dad, he didn't stop work till he was 68, I think. My granddad worked till he was 74.
Oh, wow.
But there's no way that they were at the same speed they were.
Yeah.
And it's that thing, isn't it? Like I say, who pays for that?
I know.
Customer or you?
Yeah, I think because also when I first started back up again, I had no idea how quick I would be on jobs. So I would always allocate myself an extra day, whether I needed it or not. So say a simple room, just painting it, minimal prep. If I thought it'd take 2 days, then I would give it 2 to 3. And I'd tell them, this is the time frame available. If by the end I don't need the third day in its entirety, then I'll reflect that in your invoice. But then what do I do with that third day?
Yeah.
Because effectively, if I don't need it, I'm not getting paid. So there was that element that I had to figure out at the start of me being back in business and learning how quick stuff took me to do, etc. But now it's more so the not putting too much pressure on myself to force it into 3 days instead of 4. Because there has been times where I'm working and I feel like I'm going as quick as I can, and then I look at my list of to-dos left and I'm like, I'm not going to get this bloody done. And you start stressing and you're panicking, and then you think, I just don't like doing this anymore. It's all a mental battle constantly.
I'm a fucker for it. Honestly, that's why I say I don't do as I say all the time. I preach a great talk, but I'm doing it to myself this week now because I'm off next week.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the job's going well. It's in for 5 days, finish on Friday, and I'm now already going, probably finish that tomorrow. If I work later and harder and longer. So you then, but then there's that trade-off, isn't there? So I can put a bit more time in tomorrow and have Friday off.
There you go, exactly. So, it's just weighing it up into
the balance that we're all searching for all the time.
Yeah.
It's it's been a great chat, Laura. To be fair, we've covered quite a few things, and we've ended up on trade talk.
I know.
It always happens when I get a painter in.
There you go.
That's the thing. Before we do wrap things up, is there anything we haven't discussed that you want to cover?
No, I don't think so. I'm quite happy with what we've talked about. I think
it's been a pleasure. It's nice to. I know how it is when you host a podcast because you're hosting other people's stories. So it's nice sometimes, although it's a bit nerve-wracking, but to be on the other side to actually go, but this is me. This is my story. This is my bit. So it's an honour to host your story.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best with the podcast. I'll keep an eye on it and see it climbing up in the rankings.
Hope so.
It's a. I find it a real honour. I do to host other people's stories because there's a trust involved in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you have to be a trusted person in order to do it. So. Again, fair play and keep shining a light on the industry because it's what it needs at the minute. Definitely. So it's been a big pleasure having you in. Thank you again for your time. Before I finish, a big thank you to the Funky Peach. If you're looking for any branded workwear, go and check them out. They'll sort out all of your bespoke stuff, and they sponsor the podcast's guest merchandise, which I'll send Laura away with. So a big thank you to you guys, and another nod to our main headline sponsors down here on the table, Zinza, who have, by the time this comes out, it'll all be announced, so I can say it, have renewed their headline sponsorship slot of the podcast. Just a note on that, to be fair, without these guys, without Zinza, I would not be here. This would not be in existence because they have supported the podcast from day one financially, and that has enabled the growth, the investment that you see in front of you, hopefully the quality improving from day one. So a massive thank you to Zinza for the sponsorship. As I say, our new headline sponsor for the next 6 months. And on that note, thank you very much for listening or watching, wherever you're doing this, and catch you soon on the next one.